Okay, I'm going to build off of Hannah Reynolds' discussion post, which was about privatizing and publicizing conflict. And her post read, one of the ideas from Schatzschneider's analytical framework is the struggle over privatizing or publicizing conflict. Privatizing a conflict is keeping the conflict between the parties involved without involving an outside audience. Conflicts that start private can be brought into the public when one of the parties wants to achieve more power. This is done by the failing group because they seek attention from the public and authority. The dominant group wants to stay in control of the conflict by keeping it away from the public audience, where the scope would be much larger to change the outcome. So I agree with what she had to say in this post, and I will expand on it through a few quotes from the text. First quote being, quote, private conflicts are taken into the public arena precisely because someone wants to make certain that the power ratio among the private interests most immediately involved shall not prevail, found on page 37. And this goes along with what Hannah said, because the basically the underdogs in the conflict want to make the topic as public as possible to bring in more opinions and hopefully gain the upper hand. And the next quote is, quote, it is the weak who want to socialize conflict, i.e., to involve more and more people in the conflict until the balance of forces is changed, found on page 40, which again goes along with the last quote and Hannah's discussion. The weak want to bring as many opinions in as possible and just try and gain as much power as possible until the balance of power shifts from them being the weak to them becoming the strong by gaining authority of making the conflict more public. And the final quote is, the winners in the intra-business strife want, one, to be let alone, they want autonomy, and two, to preserve solidarity of the business community, found on page 41. And this just means the winners, which are the initial frontrunners in the conflict, they want to continue being in the lead, and that means by just leaving the situation completely between the two people that the conflict started between, so that no more opinions get involved and the scope of the conflict doesn't expand and doesn't become more public, so that um, they can preserve the conflict and preserve their power in the conflict and remain the winners and remain the front runners in the conflict.